Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. I'm back with another video today and I'm going to share with you my likely unpopular views on the reopening of schools. The issue of the reopening of schools is a pretty hot button topic right now. The two factions, you can see them going at it an awful lot online. We have the one side who believe that it is not safe to reopen schools, whether they would mean like for the teachers or for the students or both. And then there's the other side, the people who believe that it is perfectly safe for schools to be reopened and that they should never have been shut down to begin with, or at least that things have reached a level now where it's totally fine to open them. I don't fall in either of those spectrums. See, on the first hand, I am against the closing of anything. I was not for any of the lockdowns, and I never actually believed that it was right to shut anything down, including schools. However, on the other hand, I'd be totally fine if schools never opened again. I believe that they're a bane to a lot of people's existence, and we just don't realize this. And this is starting to come out in the mentality that a lot of people seem to have nowadays, especially parents and school students. So we've been seeing a lot going around about students' mental health and how it is so important that kids get back in school because they are suffering from poor mental health and they are having a lot of issues in that area. Now, before we used to hear more, when the schools first shut down, it was more about academics. They were afraid that kids would get behind if they weren't, in school learning. And, we've got to admit that distance learning has been a complete disaster. And I honestly think that the kids would probably learn more at home by not doing any distance learning at all, and just by following their own interests and going about their lives than actually being forced to sit on a computer for 6 or 7 hours a day. But that has seemed to shift now, and people are really talking more about mental health and the effect that it is having on children. And in fact, there have been some rallies with students and parents who are trying to get their school districts to open back up again. And mental health is like the main thing that they are talking about. And I do not want to even for 1 second make anyone think that I do not believe that these kids are experiencing mental health issues, because of course I think that this has had a large effect on children, on the schools being shut down. Here's my issue. My issue is, why have we as a society given school this much power? Why have we as a society made school so central to our very existence that if children are not able to go there, that they are suffering depression and anxiety from being at home with their families? Something is off here. If we would replace school with the family, many of these mental health issues, I truly believe, would subside. Yes, there are always outliers. I know that someone is going to comment and say that there are some kids where school is a sanctuary for them. And I agree. There are some students who, unfortunately, school is a sanctuary for them. But what I am going to talk about is the majority of students, because we cannot put, a smaller percentage of students and make that have to be the normal for everyone else. And the fact is that if family would have its proper place in a child's life and not have school have been the center of a child's life from the time that they're maybe 3 or 4 years old, we would not be having these issues of mental health. And unfortunately, it's not just on the part of the students, being gone all day. The parents themselves just have also been saying that this has affected their mental health with having their kids home with them. And it's such a sad situation that we just have parents and kids who don't know how to be together. And this has to stop. We need to take back this power from these schools. These schools should not be central to anyone's lives. Family should be central. And so many of the problems that are going on today would diminish. At the very least, they would diminish if families had their proper place again. And I know that there are a lot of people who are saying that their kids really need to get back to school. They need that social interaction that they get at school. And the first thing I want to say is that I always thought that when people talk to homeschoolers and say, what about socialization, that they were just kind of putting down homeschooling, that they didn't actually believe that school was the only place that kids can get, can be with their friends, can get socialized. But apparently a lot of people actually do believe that, at least from what I'm seeing. They are honestly of the mindset that their kids will have no way to socialize or to be with their friends if they're not in school. So some people actually believe that. They don't realize that there are neighborhood kids and parks and sports teams and playgrounds and even like relatives, the library. School is not the only place for kids to be with other kids. And first of all, I also have to say that again, we need to go back to the whole bonding of the family issue. I think that we put kids having to be with other kids sometimes higher on the pedestal than kids needing to be with their families. And really, I do understand, though, that a lot of kids are missing their friends at this point. But here's my second point. If you are one of those parents and you say that your child needs to be back in school because they miss their friends, they miss being with other kids, they're lonely, they're depressed, my question to you is, why haven't they been seeing their friends all this time? It's okay for your child to see their friends outside of school, even now. No matter what you think about masks, no matter whether you believe in wearing masks or whether you don't believe in wearing masks, your children can get together with other children. Whether you believe that they don't need to take any sorts, if they don't need to take any sort of safety protocols, or whether you want them to be socially distanced from their friends and everything, yeah, that does make it harder. But that doesn't mean that your kids can't do anything. They can leave the house. If your child is feeling this way, take them out. Do something with them. Let them see their friends. Find ways in order for them to either see their friends or to make friends, or at least to be around other kids. It should never have been the school's responsibility to do these things for your kids. This should always have been the parents' responsibility. So really, I think that it is so important that as a society, we start to remember that school is not central. Without school, if you as the parent would step in and do the things that parents are supposed to do, you really would not have a lot of the issues that are going on with kids not being able to go to school. Parents are depending on schools for far too much. They're looking to these teachers to be like their child's second parents. And I always complained. I always said that I didn't like feeling like a secondary parent. But there are people out there who prefer to let their teacher handle the kids or to let the school take care of their child's needs. But it is not the school's responsibility. It is your responsibility. And if your child is having mental health issues, you need to take a step back and you need to look at how you as the parent can change these things. Stop relying on the schools for everything. Because in the end, I really hope and pray that both parents and kids start to realize that we really don't need schools. Schools need us. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you might be able to leave one. Sometimes I don't have comments. Sometimes I do. Lately I have. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.